promised, I have a special surprise for all of you viewers out there for this haunting season. Since Halloween is coming up quickly, I have to let you know something. It is one of my favorite times of the year, and this cloth. It's my favorite time of the year. More than just trick-or-treating. It's the time for me to be watching certain Halloween films. They are the best kind of movies there are out there. They get you really in the haunting mood. And today, I'm going to be counting down my top 25 favorite films to watch during this haunting season. And just so you know, these are only going to be films that I have. If any of you disagree with me, it's okay, and I will have 2 honorable mentions later on soon. So, with all that said, grab some Halloween candy and put on your favorite Halloween costumes, for this is my top 25 favorite films to watch during Halloween. Number 25. A lot of you may not have heard of this one, but I chosen Tamara as my number 25 spot. I may have already mentioned something about this before in my Carrie review, but this film seems to have the same plot. I mean, you have the main character who's a certain social outcast and has supernatural powers. However, in this Tamara's case, instead of mind powers, it's just witchcraft instead. And what's also bizarre is that she has a crush on her English teacher in this film. After a certain evil prank that also murders her in the beginning of the film, she comes back as a certain hot siren and thinks of nothing more other than revenge against the people who tormented her, and will stop at nothing to get her teacher to fall in love with her. I really like this film, but the reason why this one's on the bottom of the list is because this film was the first horror film I've seen in my life. Plus, I was really shocked and bizarred for all the deaths that happened in the movie, though. With all that said, it does have a certain good cast, like Jenna Dewan as the main lady, and Matthew Marsden and Katie Stewart. However, there's also 2 people in the film who I hate as much as I hate that Trent guy from Friday the 13th. Patrick and Sean in the film. I guess that's all I have to say about this one. Tamara, one touch from her and you're forced to do her bidding. Number 24. What other film to be a friendly film other than a film about a friendly ghost? You may have guessed it. Casper is my number 24 spot. And even though this is a movie based on a cartoon and it's supposed to be aiming for kids, the reason why this one is kind of so low is because this one may have some adult language in it, like crap or hell or bitch in it. However, the plot of this one seems way better than those other films that came out afterwards. No offense, Wendy, we still love you. However, the story goes about 2 people known as, Kerrigan Crittenden and her friend Dibbs, who inherit this mansion called Whipstat Manor. And they don't even know the place is haunted by the ghostly trio, but they think that there are some riches inside, and they're after them. When they find out the place is haunted, they call upon ghost hunter Dr. James Harvey and his daughter Kat to find out what to stop them. But Casper does lighten up to Kat at times, and when the Halloween party starts to arrive, Kerrigan and Dibbs sneak into the underground lab. But it's also creepy how Kerrigan becomes a ghost in the end of the film, and also her defeat at the end, though. And besides, I love this movie. And also, my favorite, the really funny parts of the film is the trio themselves. I mean, they may be a little bit mean at times, but they can really be really funny. And also, The ending song, sung by Little Richard, is my absolute favorite in the movie, though. Casper. A friendly movie from a friendly ghost. Number 23. Scooby-Doo. What would Hanna-Barbera be without you? And also, I had a hard time really deciding which Scooby-Doo movie to have, even though I only have 2 live-action movies. Like, I don't have any of the animated ones, but I only had to go with one choice. And in case you're wondering, this one's not on the list, though. Oh, no. I chosen this one to be on the list as my number 23 spot. The reason why is because this film seems to stick out like the tribute to the show as much as the other, more than the first movie does. Even those awful prequels that came afterwards. It does, like, the gang are celebrating the grand opening of the Grand Smithsonian Criminology Museum, but on that night, something goes crazy when all of a sudden the pterodactyl ghost starts to come alive and steals 2 costumes. But then the following night, as the gang further investigate, more costumes get stolen and become real monsters. So it's up to the gang to not just find out what's going on, but also clear the press from hating them. And also Shaggy and Scooby want to change their ways from preventing themselves from being all goofy and all. But then the gang realize that they're fine the way they are. And also, I guess that's all I have to say about this one, though. Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. A really monstrous movie that'll make you cry out, Scooby-Dooby-Doo! Number 22. This one happens to be the second horror film on the list, and it's also the second horror film I've seen in my life. Of course, I'm referring to Prom Night. This film is not too bad for a PG-13 rated horror film, especially one that stars Brittany Snow in it. And this was before I've known about the one from 1980, though. The story goes about a girl named Donna Keppel who's traumatized for what happened 3 years prior to the film. Her science teacher goes crazily obsessed about her and even gets fired from his work, and gets a restraining order, and all of a sudden kills her family. And she's adopted by her aunt and uncle. But on the night of her prom, he starts, stalking her again, escaped from prison 3 days before. And Detective Wynn and his friend Nash go to investigate the hotel where the prom is at and see if he's there. And, Fenton is all, killing off her friends and anyone who gets in his way in order to get Donna. Personally, this film is pretty intense, but I wouldn't recommend kids watching it, especially with the other horror film I mentioned earlier. However, this film does have great songs in the film, and to be honest, the ending is pretty sad, but the ending credit song, Paralyzed by Rock Hills Kid, is awesome. Prom Night. A night to die for. Number 21. Now, to be honest, I really love Tim Burton's films, but this one happens to be based on something that I've never seen on television, due to the fact that I hate live-action TV shows. Of course, I'm referring to Dark Shadows. And to be honest, this full-length film is pretty okay. Granted, it's not Tim Burton's best work, but still, the cast is pretty awesome, with Chloe Grace Moretz, Johnny Depp, Jackie Earle Haley, Helena Bonham Carter, Michelle Pfeiffer, and others. 300 years after Barnabas Collins gets buried and transformed into a vampire by a witch, he comes to return to his estate and plans to help his family business get back on top again while trying to face the wrath of the reincarnation of the person who transformed him. And also during the time, he starts to fall for a girl named Vicky, who actually is my favorite character in the film, and she's really cute, though. And the more times he starts to resist Angelique, the more she starts to plan to bury him again and starts to frame the family. Personally, I just don't have too much to say about this one, and I already said it's not Tim Burton's best work. Still, Dark Shadows. A film that may be a good film to take you back to 1970s. That's all I have to say right now. Besides, I'm not going to be putting this countdown into a full-length countdown video, and it's one. There are going to be 5 on each of the 5 parts on the countdown that I've chosen. So, I'll see you all next time for the next 5. See you later.